For the most part on your stream, your growth is going to be determined by how engaging you are as a live streamer. It doesn't matter if you're streaming on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. This video is going over 10 engaging tips that you guys on the right track to getting more of an audience, being more engaging, getting people to return to your live videos, not just your lives. That was worded weird. Hugs and kisses, everybody. So if I can get you guys to break out of your shells a little bit, I guarantee you will start seeing more and more growth long term. So being an engaging streamer will get you growth long term. When you are sporadic and inconsistent, you can see growth spurts, you can see ups and downs all over the place. But when you are consistently engaging, you can slowly build and build and build your communities up and have a better experience as a live streamer. So let's get into this without wasting any more time. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you some gimmicky tricks that might help you along the way as well. Tip number 1, make sure in your settings, whatever live whatever live dashboard you are using, make sure you have your chat set as fast as possible. Now, I understand you might want to delay it if you're doing like a tournament or something like that, but make sure you reset that up so your chat shows in front of you as fast as possible. Every different streaming platform has different settings for this, so make sure you check that. You want to get it as fast as possible. Make sure OBS reads it that way. Your chat is your bread and butter, and if somebody sends you a message and you respond to it really quickly, that is engaging to that viewer. So make sure you don't have some massive delay on it. Even 30 seconds or more is probably quite a bit. You want to be around the 4 to 10 second range, although sometimes these platforms bug out. But in general, you want to be as fast as possible or have it set as fast as possible. Tip number 2, make sure you have multiple alerts on your stream. So if you're a Facebook streamer, we get reactions for likes and shares and all this extra stuff. So you can set up different alerts for all those different reactions to give a little bit more variety on your live stream. If you're on Twitch and you got follows or hosts, same kind of thing. You want to change it up so different things happen while you're live. This is an easy engagement tool. Streamlabs for their alerts. You can go in and set variants and change all the different things really easily on that dashboard. Tip number 3, make sure you prepare topics, goals, and direction for your live stream. You want to be prepared when you go live, especially in the beginning when you're building up. When you don't have chatters in there, when things are really quiet, when you start going live, you want to have some things prepared, things that you can talk about. Usually finding things that we're passionate about within ourselves is the best way to start because you can talk at length about things that you know. I would start picking things from my personal life that I experienced and just talking. Anybody that comes in and lurks on a new streamer, if you are just talking, that will hold them longer than you just sitting there playing the video game. Whether they're reacting, whether they're talking back to you in chat, it doesn't matter. It is absolutely more engaging for a viewer to find a new streamer and just listen to them talk. A lot of times your viewers will just want to lurk anyway. So you being a good talker and practicing at this will really get things moving. And leading into tip number 4, because of the whole talking aspect and being prepared, you might want to start looking into improv. This is something that I've looked into over the last year. I've taken some self-practicing, kind of working at these little tips and tricks. There's YouTube videos all over the place on little things you can do while you're driving in your car, just thinking in your head, and practice these things about how to react and the yes and approach to things. You can apply that to chat, and it's really amazing how much more you can get out of simple comments and elaborate into different topics, and you can just kind of speak freely. It's a very freeing experience, but it is difficult. You just got to practice. But improv basically turned around my stream. Tip number 5, try not to co-stream right away in the beginning of your streaming. This is just kind of an opinion of mine, but whenever I find a newer streamer, if they're playing like Call of Duty or a modern game where they're playing with other individuals, a lot of times they don't have things balanced out, and the people that they have as guests are more engaging and louder than the streamer themselves. This is a crucial mistake for a lot of streamers. Make sure you watch your playbacks and pay attention to the audio of your guests and pay attention to how much they're talking. If they're outdoing your performance and nobody can see or hear that person, it's going to kill your stream because they're going to want to see and hear that person over you. I'm not saying not to play with your friends, but if you do have a friend that's that much more engaging when just from audio, maybe learn from them and start picking up on that style so you can bring a little bit more energy when you are live. Tip number 6, you got to respect the mixer. So going with the guest audio or going with music or going with the gameplay audio, you want to have your mixer set correctly. So make sure you go into your OBS or Streamlabs OBS or whatever broadcast software you are using and pay attention to some basics on your mixer. One thing you want to do is have your voice, you want it to be peaking around the top of the yellow range. Some of these mixers show you an actual decibel reading, like -10. In that range, something like that would be good. So on my mixer here, I'm going to show you guys real quick. This is the crash course for audio setting. All right, everybody. So this is the audio that I was talking about. So in my mixer down here that you can see me right here in this mixer range, this is where I like to keep my voice right around here. I don't have very strong compression on my voice, so it has a little bit of natural dynamic to it. OBS has filters, obviously, that you right click here and you can add your filters. But one thing I want to do is I like to keep my voice range right about here. So this is just a reference. Sometimes they show you the negative, -5, -6, somewhere in that range. Others mixers on these broadcast softwares don't show you that. So this is about where I like to have my voice peaking. I have a limiter set to like -1, so it can never go past this mark way up here. But when I have gameplay on, I like to keep my gameplay right back here, actually, quite a bit back. So this is obviously just my voice, but if I saw a gameplay meteor with music playing, I would like to keep it at that -20 peak area right about there. Maybe some explosions getting into the yellow area a little bit, but for the most part, right there, because that gives a lot of distance between the gameplay and my actual voice itself. And you're going to hear my voice change as I'm going through this, but that is a nice safe spot. And then if you have guests on, you want your guests to be matched out to you. But if you have like game player guests on, so if you're playing like Call of Duty and you just have your game chat, you might want to put your game chat like the -15 range, so they're audible but they're not overbearing. That's what I was talking about, one of those tips where your audio is so crucial to your viewers' experience. So make sure you pay attention to that, and you want these things balanced out. All right, let's get back to the video. Tip number 7, make sure you have a decent webcam. Now, there is debate whether or not you can grow as a streamer without a webcam, but I would say that more times than not, a webcam will add engagement because you can add different levels with that webcam. If they can see you, more can go on within the stream, and if you have different things you want to show them, you'll be able to do that right here with a webcam. And you don't need to break the bank on a webcam, you just need something basic. So I strongly suggest you get a webcam, and then depending on where you are streaming, if there is a live icon on the live, make sure you don't put your camera on your overlay behind the live icon. A lot of Facebook streamers make this mistake. They always put their video up in the top left corner, and then it's behind the live icon. And you can move it temporarily, but it always blocks the streamer. It drives me insane. Tip number 8, make sure you have a decent microphone. Now, you don't have to break the bank for a microphone, but a lot of people overpay for their microphones, like I did. Here's an example of a $100 microphone instead of my $400 microphone. Can you really tell a major audio difference where it justifies an extra $300? Tip number 9, make sure you have different scenes in your live. Now, one thing that drives me nuts is a stream that only has one scene set up, and then they'll go to a break or they'll take a 15-minute thing, and it's just like a chair sitting there. This is a killer on your viewership. You don't need to do this. You can implement different scenes that are just videos that you can play for a few minutes if you got to take a leak, or you can implement different scenes for different things. Now, this is a terrible example, but this is just one other scene that I use randomly. Of course, it's shrunk down because it's the output is different when I'm live. I go into a old school ratio, but you can do different things to bring on engagement when you are live. So I really strongly recommend that you have multiple scenes throughout your live, not just your gameplay in a chair. And tip number 10, make sure you take clips and repurpose them as reels, shorts, and TikToks. You want to get as much as you can while you are live out. That's why it's incredibly important to put these engaging tips together, so when you are live, you can create clips that'll go so much further than you're live. And that's why a lot of times I don't watch my viewer count, because it doesn't matter what's going on necessarily in the live. I can still repurpose a lot of content, but if I'm going to let my viewership drop bum me out, or if I'm going to have a sourpuss stream because things just aren't going my way, well, then I can't use any of that material. There's so many times that I'll have videos that weren't that great in the live that go viral afterwards. So make sure you have everything prepared. Take these tips and take them seriously, because I promise you they can really help your streams out. And when you make your clips, you'll have better content for your clips, which you'll get in front of new people, new eyes. And then when they see you live, it'll at least be consistent. I did say I was going to add a little extra. Now, you saw me wearing some hats before. If you were paying attention, like my hats changed. That's like the webcam stuff. You can add different outfits. You can have challenges for shaving your head, whatever you want to do with your live stream. There's a lot of different other things you can do once you start having a community based around you. But having trivia cards or, dad joke cards or anything set to the side that you can kind of just pull up and use for engagement, it's an excellent tool because you can be prepared with extra stuff. So trivia is always a go-to. Make sure you can go with different card games, even Cards Against Humanity. You can't play it outright on the stream because that would technically be illegal, but you can use parts of it for engagement. and so on. Look, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please consider hitting that like button because that really helps me out, and it's free. You know what also is free? You can subscribe too, and that makes a huge difference as well. I make these videos every single week. These are experiences I'm going through every single week as a streamer. I'm not huge. I'm doing all right, and I share my experiences with all you here. It's like a live blog of my streaming career. I have really old videos on here that are quite embarrassing. But anyway, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
My shell crunch brings all the joy to the yard. I'm like, it's making me hard. Damn right, it's making you hard. You could eat me, but half in shard.